All right, everybody. I hope that we have some of the problem here fixed. Meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you with an update on your weather as we head into the week ahead. It's now the vernal equinox, and we have some changes in store. Your forecast.
Now, a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons.
Okay, everybody, thanks, and I beg your pardon. Please drop me a note. Let me know that you're chiming in, where you're watching from, and I'd love to get your feedback on whether or not the mic fix is going on. I had to reboot the computer. There's still a few flakinesses to it, so I hope it's not cutting out. I'll keep my eyes on the cutting out factors that I can see here on my streaming service. But hopefully we have made some improvement, and I'd love to hear from you. Let's get started with a look at what we have going on with regards to our forecast as we go through the next couple of hours. Katie, thank you. Ooh, sometimes technology, I can tune an engine and I can, tear a transmission out of a car, but making a microphone sound good, it's a challenge. Alan, thanks for joining me. Hey, Vicky, thanks for joining, and thank you so very much for your patience. Let's talk a little bit about the forecast as we go through the next day or so. We do have some significant weather heading our way. By Thursday afternoon drive, we'll have some considerable snow potential. Let's get right to the details on what we're seeing there. This is one model, and it's a newer one that's just coming in. Thanks, Janet. I appreciate you. And again, Joy, joining from the Breckenridge area. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for your patience. Okay, as we go through the day on your hump day, it's our first full day of spring, and it looks like snow develops out of Montana, and we get one little racing batch moving through, but the main event for Thursday's Clipper moves through there and heads all the way into the Twin Cities as we head into Friday. Thanks, Karen. I appreciate the feedback. Paula, hi from Dilworth. Thanks all of you for the stars as well, supporting Hutch's weather here. Got to tell you, we have some wild weather. Let's get in a little bit closer so you can time out the details. The clock is at the top of your screen, and I'll go ahead and slide through this, and we can rock back and forth with details on what you can expect with regards to this system working its way through. Number one, as we go through Wednesday morning, notice places like Wednesday evening, Dickinson and Bismarck may see a batch or a snow shot. This does not come with a lot of wind, but you're certainly going to get yourself some greasy roads briefly as this works its way through. Remember, we're all really getting cold out there. Thanks for joining in. Pensacola, Florida. Kyle, I hope the toes are in the sand. Thanks so much, Paula. Thanks so much, Darlene. You all are the best. The snowblower is already put away. Mine too. Get it back out. We'll talk more about this in a second. This is not going to be snowblower worthy snow here. Coming through Wednesday night, you see this? It falls apart before it gets to our area and really moves out. Here's the main event. This is an Alberta Clipper. You see these white or grayish areas here? These are big flakes the size of Hutch Johnson's toe. And my big toe is pretty big, so you want to keep in mind, Glendive, Miles City, you're going to see some snowflakes making their way through. This is 11 in the morning as we go through your Thursday morning. Now, that batch of snow will work its way eastward as we go through the day. And as we continue through the day, look at this. Here it is, 5 o'clock in the evening, Bismarck, Mandan. If you're in the Hazleton, Moffat, Braddock area, if you're in Wishick, Ashley, Napoleon, Streeter, you're going to see a chance for some snow. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate your stars. Thanks for being patient with me as I fine-tune my audio here, or at least try to. Now, this batch of snow will work its way into the valley as we head into the drive time home and the nighttime hours. Again, this is Thursday night. Then it heads from here, Fargo-Moore heads straight down I-94 to the Twin Cities. So if you're going to cheer on the Fighting Hawks in Minneapolis, St. Paul, big time playoff hockey going on down there. And I know a little snow isn't going to stop you. This is not going to be so much, and it's not going to come with so much wind that it's going to really impede your complete travel plans. But you will want to give yourself extra time to travel down there. Friday in the morning, well, things shouldn't be too awful bad. So hopefully there'll be a chance out there. Brian, thank you so very much for watching. Thanks a lot, Brenda. I'm glad that you're enjoying the show. I like weather reports. I like real weather reports. Ken, thank you so much. All right, so we got some flakiness moving on. How about Fergus Falls, St. Cloud? By the time we get to 9 in the evening, it's all the way between Fargo and Minneapolis. This is Thursday night, and it glides down into Minneapolis as we go into Friday morning. So know this, as you're traveling in the direction of Minneapolis, if you're heading to cheer on the Fighting Hawks, well, you know what? It's their year, and a little flakiness in the weather isn't going to slow down that hockey team. I can tell you that much there. They'll have you saying oofta at times because there'll be a little bit of slippery roads here and there. But by and large, whether you're from Badger, Angela, or whether you're from, well, where does this say? Ryan says, due to not having winter during the winter, we have to have it in spring. Tell me, was Punxsutawney Phil right or was he wrong? It hurts my brain to even think about it. Okay, Mike from Nisswa, good to have you on. And I enjoy having you on, Mike Baker, because, wow, went to high school in Brainerd, family living out in that area. It's kind of fun. I was there for a little while. You may not remember me in those parts because I was an... It was a long time ago. So this is our high resolution forecast for this system as it works its way through. Here's Hutch's snowfall forecast. I'm going to pop that baby up, but here's a look at a snapshot of what the radar will look like as we go through the drive time on your Thursday. Heavy snow, mainly Highway 200 and points to the south. Up north, it's going to be renegade flurries here and there with lesser accumulations. This is Thursday and into Friday morning. How much, you ask? What did you ask? Oh, how much? I could hear you all the way from here. Check it out. We have us some snowflakes worthy. Well, let me see if I can turn a light up here and get rid of some issues I'm having with a little bit of, there we go. Okay, we're going to see in this whole blue area 2 to 5 in a few pockets from the oil patch through Bismarck all the way into Fargo. Now, this heavier band could shift just a little bit farther south, maybe a little bit farther north, but we'll call it Highway 200 and point south, having a decent shot at widespread 1 to 2 inches with 2 to 5 in pockets. Maybe a renegade location will call in and say, yo, I got 6 inches of snow. Brian says no snow. Oh my goodness, stop the talk. I'm sorry, Brian, I'm sorry. Okay, here's the rest of the news. We have even more changes coming our way as we head into the weekend, Sunday into Monday. So let's talk a little bit. Give my soil nitrogen or give it death. I don't think that's how that one saying I knew from a long time ago goes, but Sarah, we'll go along with that because we could use some nitrogen in the soil and some of us could use some moisture. Now, the driest part of North Dakota along the international border, the driest part of Minnesota in central Minnesota. Look at the areas that'll have a chance at seeing some snow from the Thursday system into Friday morning. Bemidji, Babe the Blue Ox. You know, you stand to be in that 1 to 2 inch likely category. There'll be a few pockets that get upwards of maybe 2 to maybe 5 inches. Look where Fargo is as we zoom in on this. And indeedly doodly dang, it looks like we'll have to start that thing. That would be the snowblower, of course, for some of us who don't like to shovel wet, heavy snow. By the way, this doesn't come with an abundant amount of wind. There'll be some 15 to 25 mile per hour gusts. The strongest winds with this system will be down in South Dakota. So that's a look at what we have going on there. Any questions? Raise your hand. Oh, I don't see one. To be honest, the farmers are going to be so happy for the snow. Julie, you're absolutely right. Thanks, Karen, for your update as well. Now, there is a big, rather large system coming our way. And I'm going to put a link right here in the comments for you so you can see the very latest. I did a video on this here moments ago on my YouTube channel, and you can get the very latest where I compare model A, B, and C. That's a real in-depth look. And also, we let you know in the clearest terms that Hutch can what to expect from this system because the models are changing the position of everything every run. I just want to let you know there's going to be some snow coming. Paula, thanks again for your support of stars coulda come as rain. It's tough calving weather. That's right. And in some of my posts, I've been talking about livestock. And if you have livestock, it appears that we're seeing a little bit of a pattern shift. I'm going to go right to this model and we'll look at the latest one here. Here's the European model. Let me show you this. And I want to guide you through this model here and tell you what the yays and what the nays are as we look through. The European model usually does a little better job with these systems farther out in time than the American model, but that's not always the case. Here's our Thursday clipper moving through. Then we have a break, and here we go. The main event gets started, and it gets started on late Saturday night. This is midnight Saturday night into Sunday morning. So some of us will want to be where we're going to be by the time we get to Saturday. You see, by late Saturday night at midnight, you'll want to be there. There's going to be wind aplenty. And now I'm going to zoom this puppy up so we can see why look at a national view here when we live in the northern plains. So here we go. In we go to our area, and there's the Thursday Clipper, and here comes the main event. Heavier bands of snow with this in the southern half of the state. Again, the northern part of the state will get wind and it will get cold. But yes, it's going to be very, very heavy at times. And look at these isobars. They're so close together. That means the wind's going to be ripping. Southerly winds could mean there could be some ice down here. Sioux Falls, central South Dakota, point south, heavier bands of snow drifting east. Here's what could make the snow very heavy for some. We'll have snow and wind. Watch where this thing goes. The low pressure center moves into Iowa, bringing rain there, but then it moves straight north. Do you see that? And this snow band just lasts for the better part of another day and a half. We're talking all the way into Wednesday, maybe even, wow, well, Tuesday for sure, for many in our area. That is a prolonged type of a path. It doesn't look like it would be as heavy with the European path in parts of North Dakota. But our southern counties and our eastern counties stand to see a big time punch in the gut from this winter weather system. And by punch in the gut, how much snow? I will say this, it's too early for Hutch to say, I think that Fargo's going to get 9.427315, carry the 3 inches. Not going to do it. But there is a legitimate chance with a Colorado low that stalls in an area for any length of time of seeing a band. It could be a narrow band, it could be a wider band of 8 to 12 inches of snow, and that's a reality. Now, here's another look at another model. This is the American model. Remember, yesterday got dark blues. That's big-time snowflakes. The valley sees a decrease in the snowfall intensity on Monday morning, but it still lasts for the better part of the day. How about central Minnesota, where there is drought? We're talking some of the heaviest precipitation on this model, the American model, right there. Both models agree Minnesota gets whacked. The Southern Valley has a better chance of heavier snow. South Dakota has a better chance of some heavier snow. So in our area, I think the models are looking. Now, I'm going to show this, but you got to promise me something. And if you do, go ahead and type in the comments, I do. Okay, but I mean, I promise not to hold you to the numbers. Let me show you some of the forecast snowfall amounts that these models are putting out. And this is what meteorology is all about. We use models as guidance to tell us what might be possible. Now, this carries us into Tuesday when the snow system is exiting, okay? Let's look at these numbers on here. These digits are pretty healthy. They're saying 1 to 2 feet of snow. Is that possible? Yes. Colorado lows are more frequent in our region. They are the more frequent 1 foot snow makers. It's not common in our area, historically speaking, to have systems that produce over 12 inches of snow in one day. It can happen, but it's not common. That said, this system sits here all day Sunday across North Dakota, and it snows Sunday and all day Monday into Tuesday in Minnesota. So are these numbers possible? Yes. Is this where they're going to be? No. Another thing that I want you to know is that I kind of do, says Brenda. Thanks, Paul. Thank you. Oh, yuck, says Joanne. I know. And I got to tell you, I feel the same way, but it is definitely a possibility that we could see some lofty snowfall totals. Here's something to keep in mind with these models. I wish I could explain this. Maybe let me grab my my peanuts here. Let me explain this with peanuts. In high resolution models that we use in meteorology, okay, the cities are far apart. In the high resolution models, we import more data from a tighter grid of models. So there's a couple peanuts here, and these peanuts are really close together. The more data we can put in, the better our answer might be coming out. Okay. For these global scale models, though, remember that the grid is bigger. So what's going to happen with the bigger grid, where we're only putting data in every so often, is that basically it's going to show a bigger area getting heavier snow. Does that make sense? So a model with a bigger grid will have to show that that snow that might be heavy in one tiny little place might be in a bigger area because it's a bigger grid. So these models, these 1 week models that are showing the European, the American that we talk so much about, really can show a huge, massive area getting a lot of snow. And one of the reasons why we don't always take this lock, stock, and barrel is the simple fact that these are large-scale models with a big grid, so it's going to show a big area of heavier snow or heavier precipitation. When the data, or when this system gets closer and the higher resolution models can start using and working with the data, we're going to start seeing the more narrow bands that may set up with this. The track of the low that's moving through North Dakota will likely produce a heavy band of snow in North Dakota over the 24-hour period it's over North Dakota. And if it's snowing for 2 days, my gut tells me the better chance for the really big snow, eastern parts of the Dakotas, particularly the Southern Valley, into Minnesota and the central part of the state. And particularly, we're talking Bemidji, Park Rapids, Brainerd, and the I-94 corridor here with this particular model. Okay, so keep this in mind. This model isn't the one, this isn't what Hutch is forecasting. You understand that? This isn't what Hutch is forecasting. This is the computer guidance. That's why I put guidance up there. And I like to sometimes call it potential. There are other models that show this system not being as impactful as this European model shows. So if we take a look at another model here, why not? Why not give you some bonus coverage here? Okay, so this model showing a similar track. It was farther south. Now it's not. Let's see if I can pull up the winter weather event here. Take a look at the snowfall potential through there. And again, this one's a little farther south with the heavier snowfall totals. All that said, we can't tell you exactly where the heavier band will be. And there can be plenty that could take place in the central plains here that cut off the flow of moisture to our system. These snowfall amounts are largely going to be dependent upon a few things. Is the track going to be the track that you see here? Is the intensity of the storm going to be as intense? Is it going to be as slow moving through as the models are showing right now? All of that can change. So, Simon says, but Hutch said 2 or 3 feet of snow. I'm saying it's possible in an isolated spot we could get a good couple feet of snow. So take that into account. The risk of that much snow over this widespread of an area, though, is not very good. However, in the last few years, we've seen a couple of events like this, and I'll remind you, some of them were spring events during calving season. So now is the time to start paying attention, be prepared, watch the track change, and then make the precautions. This system is going to come with some ripping south and southeast winds that will be gusting very strong. And then they switch around and become northwesterly winds after the system moves through. So yes, Brenda, you got it. Happy spring. So next week too, I can't even tell you what's coming next week, and I don't want to. And I have more information on that on my bonus model for you. But what I thought I would go ahead and do is pop up me 7-day forecast and what you can expect for tomorrow. Tomorrow, temperatures in the morning look like this. You're going to expect those readings to be generally in the teens and single digits, and the wind chills are going to be unfun. Lack of serious heat out there with wind chills down well below zero with the north wind at 15 to 30 miles per hour. That's your morning. Unfun. Remember, then after that, let's get to your afternoon forecast as we summarize that. And the heat is on out in parts of the Montana, Wyoming area. But for us, we have a lack of heat. Unbalmy situation with temperatures in the teens and 20s. And that's all we're going to muster. Increasing clouds out west late as the storm system makes its way in. A good sprinter event, says Maury. Yes, sprinter is that season somewhere between spring and winter. And this is exactly what Punxsutawney Phil was telling us about Rick. Or Jan, thank you for tagging friends in the video. I sure hope that they can get some information out of it too. Here's your 7-day planner. These are the digits. 20's the next 2 days. The Alberta Clipper, lasting into the late hours of Friday night, will deliver some areas of 1 to 2 inches of snow along the track, mainly in the southern half of North Dakota. But we'll have the pocket of heavier snow that I showed you, 2 to 5 possible. A little bit of a break in the weather events on Friday besides the morning snow. Then Saturday morning starting out pretty good, increasing clouds. Main event, Sunday into Monday. A 2-day walloper, a whack of snow and wintry weather. It's a Colorado low style system. You might even call it a Wyoming style system because it's coming out of Wyoming. Thanks, Wyoming, the cowboy state, giving us well, I guess more than 8 seconds of a ride for the cowboys who try to stay on the bull for 8 seconds. Cold weather behind this may be colder than Hutch's 21. So we will have a look at this. I'm hearing rumors, Simon said, of an Easter storm. Let me show you what you're hearing. And the rumors are not unfounded, but they're way too far out there to get excited about it. You can see a little bit more detail on this on my extended forecast that I put on my YouTube channel. But here we go as we head in towards the last portion of the month. Here's our 2.5-day storm system working its way out of our area. And then here comes another low developing the week before Easter Sunday. Here is Good Friday. Good Friday could bring some wintry weather, according to this model. And the model has changed every day with regards to the timing of this. And then here comes a post-Easter Sunday system that shows rain now up in the northern plains. So a couple of weather events possible bookending your Easter holiday. That's a look at your weather. I hope you've had fun. I'm going to put a link up here right now and let you have details on what you can expect as we glide into, well, the week ahead. Here's a link to my YouTube video that I put up there. I'd love to have you join that, check it out, watch it, and let me know what you see and what you like. And again, thanks for your likes and follows there on that YouTube model and right here as well. Thanks for spreading the good word of Hutch's weather. More exciting announcements to come. Until next time, have a swell evening. Take care of each other. Remember, wax your shovels and gas up them snow blowers. Some of us will have some snow removal to do.